The great price slash, as nearly 21,000 sellers take a chainsaw to their asking price, with 6,500 home sellers cutting their price in the last month alone. What's driving this seller panic? Is this the market correction buyers have been praying for? Today on the Housing Nerd, we're diving into the fresh Redfin data that shows homes are taking longer to sell now than they have over the last 5 years. Price cuts are everywhere, and we still have record high mortgage payments. Hey, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jason Ferrier. I'm a Central Ohio realtor and investor. Been doing it for 7 years. Thank you for joining us on the Housing Nerd. If you want unbiased, unfiltered takes on the housing market and real data, you came to the right spot. Join me today as we break down the national housing market. Then I'll dive into metro housing markets that you requested. Plus, I'll share how to tell if home prices will crash soon in your city. The name of this Redfin article is Monthly Housing Payments Hit an All-Time High. The median monthly mortgage payment reached a record high this week, putting a lid on pending home sales. New listings, on the other hand, are improving. The typical U.S. homebuyer's monthly housing payment hit an all-time high of $2,807 during the 4 weeks ending March 23rd. That's up 5.3% from a year earlier. They say housing costs are soaring for two reasons. One, sale prices keep rising. The median home sale price is up 3% year over year. Two, the average weekly mortgage rate is 6.67%, more than double pandemic era lows, but rates have dropped from an 8-month high of 7.04% in January. Monthly payments would be even higher if not for the recent decline in rates. According to a recent Housing Nerd poll, 79% of y'all thought that the price of a home was more important than the actual interest rate. Now, personally, I think this is a case-by-case decision. Not every deal looks the same. Many times as an investor, if I can get a great locked-in low interest rate for an extended period of time, especially with seller financing, the interest rate can actually make the deal work, even if I give the seller a little more than they're even asking for on the price. But if it's a primary home, I agree. Price many times is much more important. But comment below and tell us now, what do you think? Is price or interest rate more important? And by the way, thanks for contributing on the poll. High costs are putting a lid on home sales. Pending home sales are down 4.6% year over year, in line with the declines we've seen over the last few months. But as we enter spring, some house hunters are stepping off the sidelines, touring homes and applying for mortgages. Mortgage purchase applications are at their highest level since the start of February on a seasonally adjusted basis. Showing time data signals that home tours are rising faster than they were this time last year, and Google searches for homes are the highest level since August. Hey, a quick break from the video to remind you, subscribe to the Housing Nerd. What are you waiting on? And hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. All right, back to the data. This next one is really important. Sellers are entering the market faster than buyers. New listings of homes for sale are up 7.5% year over year, the biggest increase so far this year. If new listings continue to rise and mortgage rates continue to decline, we may see pending sales improve in the coming months. But comment below and tell me what you think. Do you think if interest rates drop, let's say to the low 6% range, and we gain more new listings, do you think more buyers are going to rush into the housing market, or will we finally see a nationwide price decline? Comment below. The Housing Nerd wants to know. Redfin agents in many parts of the country say that even though costs are high, some buyers are able to negotiate in their favor. And that is true. Buyers are cautious because they're worried about the economy and potential layoffs, and they're wondering if mortgage rates will come down later this year. But because other buyers are cautious too, some house hunters are getting homes for under asking price, said Kimberly Frutal, a Redfin premier agent in Hamish, Washington. If you love a home and you see yourself living there for 4 to 5 years, make an offer you're comfortable with, even if it's a little below list. Don't assume it will escalate out of your price range, because the seller might actually take it. I'm asking clients, this isn't me, this is her, would you be sad if this home ends up selling for less than asking price to someone else? Now, every agent has their own strategy with clients. My strategy is I always encourage disrespectful offers, especially now with homes sitting on the market longer than they have over the last 5 years. And with all the price cuts we've seen, disrespectful offers can be successful. Now we're going to look at the indicators of home buying demand and activity. They start with the daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate. That's 6.8% as of March 26th. It's near the lowest level since December and down from last year at 6.92%, according to Mortgage News Daily. And you may know this, you may not, but you can go to Mortgage News Daily right here in the hyperlink and check out their 30-year fixed mortgage rate data. They got charts, they got historical info, everything you want to know about mortgage trends. So what's crazy is mortgage rates haven't really come down that much at all. In fact, I just read an article from Mortgage Bankers Association that says on average, they predict, and this is the mortgage market we're talking about, they're thinking rates aren't going to come down underneath like 6.4% over the next 2 years. But comment below and tell me what you think. Do you think rates are going to come down, especially with the tariffs and everything else going on with the administration? Or are they going to remain sticky? This next data set is an indicator of how much real demand is out there in the housing market. Mortgage purchase applications, seasonally adjusted, is up 1% from a week earlier, but up 7% from last year. So basically, the rate at which people are applying to purchase homes with a mortgage, that is up compared to last week and last year. But remember, everyone who applies doesn't necessarily get approved. Now, this is one of the first times I'm seeing the touring activity metric start to tick up, because this is the indicator of how many people are out there touring homes. It's up 37% from the start of the year. And at this time last year, it was up 29% from the start of 2024. So basically, I guess it's up 8% year over year. For a long time now, this has been falling, not going up. So is this an indicator that buyers are starting to hit the streets this spring? We'll have to see. One of the things I love about this channel is I'm able to give you some on the street perspective. And I can tell you from someone who has listings, and I do open houses all the time, I'm not seeing buyers running back into the housing market, at least not on my listings. Now, Redfin looks at the top 400 metros in the US, not every metro, but the top 400, and they look at the highlights for sales, pricing, and inventory. All right, median sale price, that's the house that's sold in the middle, nationally $383,750. That's up 3% year over year. So this is median asking price, how much people are asking for homes. That hasn't fallen at all, basically in months and months. It's now $425,000. Now we've got the median monthly mortgage payment, $2,800 at a 6.67% rate. That's up 5.3% year over year, and it's a record high. So payments are higher than they ever have been in the history of Redfin doing these updates. Why is that? It's because prices haven't really come down yet nationally, even though mortgage rates have come down. So when you look at the poll question from earlier, a lot of you are correct. The price may matter more than the payment when it comes to your primary home. These next three are indicators of a potential price correction or crash, and you should pay attention to these three metrics in your local housing market. Pending sales, basically how many houses are going into contract to sell. Not all of them close, but let's pretend they all do. 83,161. That's down 4.6% year over year, meaning right now we have a lot fewer homes that are selling versus last year. And last year was horrible with pending sales. And the year before that was bad too. So the market has really been frozen with the number of transactions. And so you want to pay attention to how many homes are actually selling in your local market. This next one, new listings. That's also important. 99,152. That's up 7.5%. It's the biggest increase of 2025. Now it's spring, so we should see more homes hitting the market. But when you have 7.5% more new listings and 4.6% fewer pending sales, one would think you're going to see more active listings. However, they have here active listings now 970,000. That's up 11.3%, but that's the smallest increase in a year. The fact is, even though there are some markets where we have a lot of inventory building, a lot of the homes that are on the market right now that you see cutting prices are homes that have been listed for a long time. And because new listings haven't really exploded yet, like they usually do during the spring, our active listings nationwide are nothing really to write home about. And remember, during the GFC, 2008, 2012, we had nearly 4 million homes on the market for sale. 4 million. So being at 970,000 isn't that big of a deal. But as we dive into some of these local markets here in a minute, you're going to see how active listings have been rising substantially in several metros across the country. Here's the other big indicator you would watch in your housing market and nationally: median days on market, 48. That's up 7 days. Homes are taking a lot longer to sell than they have over the last 5 years. And you can see that's starting to take effect because average sale to list price ratio, 98.5%, down from 98.8% last year. So on average, people are getting a 1.5% discount. Now that may not seem like a lot, but remember, just a couple years ago, people were on average were paying 101, 102, 103, 104% of the actual list price. So to be under list price on average is probably an indicator there are people getting discounts. Redfin doesn't include the price drops in their data anymore that they talk about on the weekly updates, but I can find it behind the scenes. And what you're looking at right now is the percentage of active listings with price drops. And right now, you can see on the screen, 6.5% of all homes in the last 4 weeks have had one price drop. That doesn't mean they didn't cut their asking price before this month or before the last 4 weeks. When you look at that number, it's much larger. It's upwards of 20 to 25%. And when you have nearly 1 million listings, that's basically 21,000 sellers have slashed their asking price on their home since they actually listed it. 6.5% or 6,500 homes slashed their asking price in the just 4 weeks alone. As I talk about these individual metros you requested, I'm going to look at the price drops. Speaking of price cuts, these are the price drops in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to start our metro analysis right now. And so in Columbus, you can see price drops 5.3%. Remember, just over the last 4 weeks, that's what the 5.3% is. So last year, that number was 3.9%. Now 5.3%. All listings had a price cut in the last 4 weeks in Columbus. Okay, hopefully you got that as we move on with these other metros. Now we'll take a look at the other indicators of these metros. In Columbus, I have new listings. They're up 1.3% year over year. Now active listings, how many homes are listed in Columbus? 14% more than this time last year. It's actually a 4-year high in Columbus, Ohio for active listings. Now we move on to pending sales in Columbus. How many homes are going into contract? It's up 1.2% year over year. So nationally, we're down 4.5%, or nationally down 4.5%. In Columbus, up 1.2%. A little more activity than we had last year, but it's not fantastic. Look at median sale price, $329,000. It looked like it was going to drop underneath last year. It did not. So now homes are more expensive than they have been the last 4 years for this time of year in Columbus. We're going to make our quick tour through Ohio because I'm in Ohio. A lot of people ask me for Ohio data. Cleveland, Ohio, new listings up 6.9% year over year. So we have new listings in Cleveland. Finally, it's been really bad over the last few months. Look at this, pending sales down 5%. So if you have pending sales down 5% and you have new listings up year over year, one would think you're going to see more active listings because you got lower demand and higher supply. Active listings in Cleveland down 1.62%, but it's starting to trend upwards. At least we're not down, double digits, because there was a period of time in Cleveland when we had a lot less active listings than we did last year. So it's good to see a little bit more inventory. All right, so how many sellers are cutting their price in Cleveland? It looks like 5.7% of all homes in the last 4 weeks had a price cut. That's up 1.1% this year. So last year, this number was 4.5%. So now it's definitely higher. New listings in Cincinnati, Ohio, that's where we'll stop next. They're up 4.5% year over year. It's climbing, no doubt about it. And Cincinnati has a lot of inventory compared to last year. Not sure if it's any good inventory, but it's out there. Pending sales down 0.4% year over year, basically flat. So Cincinnati doesn't have a whole lot of selling action. Here are active listings in Cincinnati, up 24%, call it 25% for this time of year. It's a 4-year high. A lot more homes for sale in Cincinnati. What about price drops for the Nasty Natty? 5.1% of all homes, similar to Cleveland. That's, it is a 4-year high. It's up 1.1% year over year. People are slashing their asking prices. When you're a seller, it's really the only play you got, right? Remember, price sells real estate. Now look at the median sale price in Cincinnati, $290,000. That's up about 2.6% year over year. And we peaked in Cincinnati at $307,000 last May. And you can see this chart if you zoom out a little bit. The price has not fallen underneath the previous year in Cincinnati at all over the last 4 years. Month after month, year after year, the price has continued to climb. Our next stop in this wacky housing market is Riverside, California. Julie Montgomery requested this area. Here is Riverside, Julie. All right. So new listings, 12.4% up year over year. You do have more new listings. It's not a 4-year high. Looks like back in 2022, you had more new listings, but it's definitely an improvement from last year, no doubt. Pending sales, like nationally, you're down 3.6% year over year with the people actually going into contracts. So sales are slow in Riverside. Now look at active listings. This tells me, look at this drop. You started out with active listings in Riverside. You started out at 13,963, and then you went all the way up to 14,353, which was up 31% year over year. But look what happened. It started to drop, and it dropped, and it dropped with active listings all the way down to 9,500. Now it's climbed to 10,275. The point is, when you look at this line and how it's traveled, what I think happened in Riverside, I could be wrong, but what I suspect happened was that sellers removed their homes from the market early in the year. You had a lot of sellers that said, you know what, I'm not getting the price I wanted. That's called wish pricing. They don't need to sell. They want to sell. And there's a massive difference between the two. If you just look at the market and think, look at all that inventory, all these people are distressed. It's not correct. There's a lot of people, they just remove their home from a market. Don't believe me? Look at this number right here. Now let's look at price cuts and see how many people are dropping their price. Look at that. Holy Toledo. Unbelievable. 8.8% of all sellers have slashed their asking price in just the last month alone. That's up 4.8% year over year. So look at this. This time last year, you were at 4% of all sellers had price cuts. Again, if you're someone that needs to sell, not wants to sell, but it's distressed selling, motivated selling, whatever you want to call it, you're going to see that price low out of the gate. You're not going to see somebody hang on to a house for months and months and just chop the price a little. You're going to see them come out of the gate with a price that moves it if they need to move it. Now we're looking at median sale price in Riverside, $592,000. Look how high that is compared to last year. It's up 3.9%, basically 4% year over year. And you started this year at 578,000, up 5%, and you haven't come down hardly at all. My guess is it's because people have removed their homes from the market, and the few homes that are left on the market may be overpriced. And then when people do happen to buy an expensive home, it keeps the median sale price high. Because look at this, your average sale to list price ratio in Riverside, California, 0.98, basically 99%. So buyers on average are getting about 1% discounts on the homes they buy. So it's not like people are getting 10, 20% discounts on average. However, look back in 2022, you were at 102%, way over asking price. You have come down some, but it's not like it's a deal of the century out there, at least not according to my data. DRM 916 asked for Atlanta, Georgia. Here you go, DRM. New listings in Atlanta, 5.7% higher than last year. It's not a 4-year high, but it definitely is going up. Let's see how pending sales are doing. Pending sales in Atlanta, Georgia, down 9.4%. Buyers have ran away from the housing market in Atlanta. They're going to come back maybe some other time, maybe not, who knows. But sales have significantly slowed there. There's no doubt about that. Active listings in Atlanta, Georgia, up 18% year over year. That's a 4-year high for how many homes are on the market. So definitely more inventory. Now let's look at how many people are cutting their price. Wow. Look at this. So the number of people cutting their price in Atlanta has skyrocketed year over year. Look where it was this time last year. It was about 4.3%. Now it's 7%, almost double. Now the median sale price in Atlanta, $391,000. That's down 1% year over year. So here's a metro where the median price is actually down year over year. What's crazy is that that's actually higher than it was this time back in 2023 when it was 374, and in 2022 when it was 366. But you did peak in Atlanta with the sale price at $420,000 back last May. Many markets peaked last summer. Will the median sale price crash in Atlanta? Well, you definitely have more inventory. There's no doubt about that. And you have more new listings. On top of that, you got pending sales dropping and price cuts going up. If all that stays the course and you add more and more active listings, and it depends on what type of listings you're adding, if they're wish pricing or want pricing or need to sell pricing, you could see substantially more price drops and actually some deals. Let's find out. Yeah, look at this. Look at average sale to list price ratio in Atlanta right now, 0.98%. It's a 4-year low on the final price when you look at the final list price and compare them. So people on average are getting nearly a 2% discount, different than Riverside that was basically a 1% discount. But when you're talking a $400,000 house, an extra percent is nice. Scott Michael requested Cape Coral, Florida. So here are new listings, Scott, for Cape Coral. They're up 6.6% year over year, but they are headed down. I mean, after going up like a rocket during the early winter, I mean, look at this, 946 units that you had listed. That was up 20% year over year at that time. Just insane. Now it's starting to head down big time. Maybe there's no homes left to list. All right, pending sales. How many homes are actually getting into contract? Down 12%. Buyers have left completely. They've left Atlanta. Looks like they're left Cape Coral, Florida as well. So no buyers out there really at all. That's a 4-year low by far. No surprise here. Active listings in Cape Coral, Florida, up 27% year over year. A lot more active inventory for you to choose from. Look at these price drops in Cape Coral, Florida, 10.2%. We're going to look at this and see who has the largest amount of price drops. Be interesting to find out at the end of today, but 10.2%. It's crazy. Look at that, a 4-year high by far. Number of people cutting prices. And look at the median sale price, down 4% year over year. So there are areas like we just saw in Atlanta where prices are actually lower than they were this time last year. It's actually a 4-year low for prices in Cape Coral, Florida. 4-year low. And last year, you actually bottomed out at $373,000. You were down 2% at that point. Your peak was back in 2022 at 421. At that point, you were up 30% year over year in the median sale price. Crazy. But man, that thing dropped and now you're down 4% year over year. We got a lot of price cuts. Are people getting deals? Well, check this out. It's 0.96. That's a 4% discount off of list price, meaning you got a ton of price cuts, a lot more inventory. Median sale price is lower, probably because you've got a lot of people getting somewhat of a discount. I mean, if it's me, I'm making some serious disrespectful offers if I'm looking in Cape Coral, Florida. Like, I'm writing offers that make me cringe when I send them in. And by the way, if you're in a market like this and the seller doesn't get the offer and go, yikes, it wasn't low enough. All right, Navy Sean requested Denver, Colorado. I don't know if you're in the Navy or not. I assume you are from the name. If you are, thank you for your service, sir. Denver, look at the new listings, up 22.9, 23%. I mean, the housing nerd is amazed. Like, it's a 4-year high on new listings. People are just throwing houses on the market. Pending sales up 2.4% year over year. Maybe there's a lot of inventory and buyers are finally like, you know what, man, there's some deals here. Let me go get one. Yeah, look at this. Look at active listings. Oh my goodness, up 40.49%. Wow, a lot of active inventory compared to last year. It's a 4-year high, not even close, going up and doesn't look like it's slowing. Let's look at price drops. These different markets are amazing. 9% of active listings have had a price drop in the last 4 weeks alone. That's up 2% year over year. This time last year, you were at 7% had price drops. It's a 4-year high, not even close. A lot of inventory, a lot of price drops. Deals, average sale to list price ratio in Denver, 99%. Doesn't look like a lot of deals are closing right now that have, you know, big discounts, but I would think this is you're going to see this accelerate because as far as the discounts go, because you've got a lot of sellers dropping their price and you have a lot of inventory. If your inventory wasn't exploding, but you had a lot of price discounts, I'd say, well, those sellers really don't need to sell. But if you've got more and more and more active inventory and a lot of price cuts, eventually that's going to trickle through to the final sale price. But even so, I'd be making disrespectful offers in Denver too. What's going on with the median sale price in Denver? Well, that's at $592,000. It's up 1% year over year, but starting to head down. I mean, you peaked in 2022, just like in Cape Coral, Florida. You peaked in 2022, $617,000, up 18% year over year. Wow. But now back to $592,000. So I would look for this to fall over the next few months, unless for some reason pending sales really pick up and a bunch of buyer demand comes into the market. Al McCallie, I hope I said that right, requested Las Vegas, Nevada. So here you go, Chow. New listings up 12% year over year. Not a 4-year high, but you have more new listings than last year. That's good. Let's look at pending sales, see how they're doing. Down 12%. I mean, pending sales are bad almost throughout the United States. And there's very few areas I think we'll see where we got more sales than last year. And if you're looking for price discounts, that's what you need. Look at active inventory in Las Vegas, 34% more than last year. It's a 4-year high for this time of year. I mean, the tail is the same in many of these areas. What about price drops? What do we got going on there? Just like other areas, exploding. 5.9% of all listings had a price drop in the last 4 weeks in Las Vegas, Nevada. Look at average sale to list price ratio in Vegas, 98%, 98.3%. So basically really close to 2% of a discount on average buyers are getting. So you do have more active inventory, but buyers aren't really getting insane deals yet, although you do have a lot of price cuts. So if you see active inventory continue to rise, if you see pending sales, continue to fall, you're probably going to see more and more deals trickle through to this number. So Vegas may be a little tighter than Cape Coral, Florida, or Denver, where it looks like it's a complete buyer's market. But, there are probably some deals to be had if you're patient and make disrespectful offers. Next, Mr. Bill Funk requested Indianapolis, Indiana, 5.5% year over year increase in new listings. So like a lot of other areas, you have more new listings. Pending sales down 3.6%. Active listings are headed down. They are a 4-year high, though, up 6.33%. While you do have more active listings, I'd probably say it's still primarily a seller's market, probably, with not a whole lot of deals happening. And even though you're seeing price drops, I mean, look at the price drops right now, 1.7% up year over year to 8.9%. It doesn't look like there's an explosion of inventory, and therefore, a lot of these folks just maybe want to sell versus need to sell. And Bill, in the comment you left on my channel, you said basically very few homes on the market in central Indiana. I assume that's near Indianapolis. That's kind of what I think of central Indiana. But yeah, it looks like there you do have more inventory, but probably nothing really great to buy and probably certainly nothing affordable. Look at the median sale price. $303,000. It's a 4-year high, or up 4% year over year. Elton Vance requested Knoxville, Tennessee. New listings in Knoxville up 11% year over year. That's a lot. I mean, good amount in new listings. Hopefully that helps you with some pricing. Look at pending sales down 1.8%. How are active listings? Look at that. Wow. I mean, that's going straight up, right? Up 17% year over year. It's by far a 4-year high. Last year looked like it was higher every month than the previous years. What about price drops? How are they doing? Yeah, look at that. Like everywhere else, 5.7% up year over year in price drops in Knoxville. Look at average sale to list price ratio, 98.1%. It's a 4-year low. Now it is going up. Maybe some buyers came back into the market and bought some homes near list price, but you still are getting about a 2% discount on average. And there's a lot of price cuts, and it seems like a good amount of inventory. Let's look at the prices to see if they're actually coming down or not, though. Median sale price is still elevated. I mean, look at this, up 6% year over year, $391,000. Last year, you peaked at $408,000, and you ended last year at $386,000. So it could be that some sellers, cut their price enough that buyers came in and actually purchased homes to keep that median sale price high. But right now, it doesn't look like complete carnage yet, like you saw in Cape Coral or certainly like in Denver. Matthew Garvin requested Portland, Oregon. So here you go, Matthew. New listings up 2% year over year. Surprising. I thought they'd have more new listings, but they don't. Pending sales, how are they doing? They're actually down 4.9% year over year. Active listings up 10.68% year over year. Not a lot of active listings, even though it is a 4-year high. Doesn't seem like it's a flood of inventory necessarily. About price drops, look at that. 6.9% of all active listings had a price drop in the last 4 weeks in Portland, and that's a 4-year high. This doesn't surprise me. This is average sale to list price ratio, basically close to 100%. It just doesn't seem like you have a lot of distressed inventory or, any just desperate sellers yet in order to create some type of price correction. The median sale price in Portland up 1% year over year to $547,000. So no big price crash in Portland yet. You just need more inventory. I'd love to know what you're seeing on the street, Matthew, but it seems like probably just need more affordable inventory. But you tell me. Blue Bonnie asked for Grand Rapids, Michigan, 6% up in new listings. They are improving in new listings, but it's not like insane amount of new listings compared to last year. And look at pending sales, up 6.8%. Wow. A lot more pending sales than many other areas we've seen. But you tell me, are homes moving quickly, Bonnie? It looks like they may be starting to sell faster than they were the last couple years at this time. Let's do active listings in Grand Rapids, Michigan, up 13%. But I don't think that's probably enough to cause some type of big price change. Like everywhere else, you've got price drops at 5.6%. A 4-year high. This is a broken record with these price drops. Telling you folks, sellers are slashing their prices left and right. They have to. It's their only play. And yeah, look at average sale to list price ratio, 99%, basically 100%. Buyers just aren't getting great discounts in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Median sale price in Grand Rapids, $335,000. Right now, this time of year, that is a 4-year high, up about 2% year over year. It doesn't look like Grand Rapids prices are crashing anytime soon. You probably just need more, better, affordable inventory, but you tell me what you're seeing, Blue Bonnie. Now, a user with a generic username asked for Salt Lake City, Utah. I can't believe how expensive Salt Lake City is, but new listings are up 9.1% year over year. Now let's do pending sales in Salt Lake City. What do we got? Down 10%. Okay. How about active listings? They are 4-year high, up 17.78%. Price drops, like everywhere else, it's a 4-year high for price drops in Salt Lake City. 7.4% of all sellers have cut their price in the last 4 weeks alone. But as I suspected, people aren't getting deals for the most part because the average sale to list price ratio, 99.3%, barely a discount at all. You probably just don't have enough great inventory. Look at the median sale price now down 2% year over year for Salt Lake City. It's headed down. I mean, this is, no doubt almost a 4-year low. You peaked back in 2022 at 562,000. And that was up at that point, 25% year over year. What in the world? People went nuts at that period of time. Like if you bought a house in Salt Lake back in 2022 in like April, man, I mean, you've seen a big equity decline. You are seeing the median sale price in Salt Lake City come down. So you tell me if you're seeing more affordable homes for sale. Maybe that's what's going on. Now, that same person asked for Newark, New Jersey, as well as Salt Lake City. Thought it was interesting to take a look at two ends of the USA and find out what it looks like. Newark, New Jersey, down 4% in new listings. So you had Salt Lake City had more new listings. Newark, New Jersey has fewer new listings. How about pending sales? What do those look like? Down 11, call it 12%. Wow. But look at active listings in Newark, New Jersey. Unreal, folks, the difference in these markets. Down 7% basically in active listings for Newark. And look at price drops, 2.7%. Not near the percentage we're seeing in other areas, but shoot, it is a 4-year high and it's going straight up. Now, the question is, are you getting any deals there in Newark? Not really. Look at that. You want proof that there are areas that are still exploding in the housing market with pricing? Average sale to list price ratio in Newark, New Jersey, 104%. 104%. 4-year high. Wow. Look at that. Median sale price in Newark, New Jersey, up 9% year over year to 579 grand. It's a 4-year high. Last year, you peaked at 629,000. My bet is there's no new construction. There's no affordable inventory. And when something comes on the market that makes sense at all, buyers rush in to bid on it. But man, the Northeast is a brutal housing market. Maybe the toughest in the nation. Joel Snyder requested Broward County, Florida. In Redfin, you can look at metros or you can look at counties. We're going to take and start new listings in Broward County, Florida. Look at this. I'm really surprised. Not up, actually down in new listings year over year. Unreal. Now, pending sales, how are they doing? Way down. Down basically 20% in Broward County, Florida. So it looks like sellers have stopped selling houses and buyers are definitely not buying. But look at active listings. There are a lot of homes on the market compared to last year in Broward County. I mean, you're up 21% versus this time last year. It's a 4-year high. So really curious to see, what about price drops? How are they looking? Look at that. Just like nationally, up like a rocket. 6.7% of all listings had a price drop in the last 4 weeks. That is up a lot. Last year, you're about 4.9%. So you've gained a lot of people that are just cutting their prices this time of year. So look at average sale to list price ratio in Broward County, Florida. It looks like buyers are getting nearly what's 4.5% discount versus the list price. So you've got a lot of price cuts. You have a lot of dead inventory. You don't have a lot of new listings, but I'd imagine a lot of that active inventory on the market's either overpriced or maybe destroyed inventory that people don't want to renovate. So you have to tell me what you're seeing, but I'm seeing the fact that you probably could make some disrespectful offers if you found something that you like. But here's what's surprising. Median sale price hasn't crashed yet. Look at it, 461 grand. You're actually up almost 4% year over year. It's a 4-year high right now for Broward County, Florida, when it comes to the median sale price. Maybe this will start to head down, but honestly, if you're getting a deal, the median sale price really doesn't matter. So roll in, requested Northern Illinois. I went ahead and assumed that it was Rockford. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do another one next week. But with new listings in Rockford, Illinois, you're up 15% year over year. Let's look at pending sales. Where are you there? Down 5.4%. So are you gaining good inventory? Let's find out. Active inventory. Geez, look at that. Active inventory down 4.8% year over year. So you got fewer homes on the market than you did this time last year, even though you have more new listings. Why is that? A good indicator there could be that you have delisted homes. Sellers are taking their homes off the market because they don't need to sell. By the way, we're seeing that in a lot of areas across the country, including here in Ohio. What about price drops? How are they doing in Rockford, Illinois? Well, just like everywhere else, they're up. 5.9% of all homes had a price cut in the last month. Average sale to list price ratio. What's the discount buyers are normally getting? Getting almost a 2% discount. That's good. And it's a 4-year low with the average sale to list price ratios. Looks like you may be able to get some deals. My guess is there's just not a lot of great inventory, but the buyers that can buy the inventory that's on the market are putting in disrespectful offers and getting some of that accepted. Because look at median sale price, $198,000 in Rockford, Illinois. That's a great price. I mean, under 200 grand for the median house. That's up though 12% year over year. Wow. But it's not going up exponentially. It's just kind of going steady right now. So hopefully that starts to come down if you can gain more inventory and more buyers are getting those discounts. Juan Ortega, 1984, asked for San Joaquin County, California. Here you go, Juan. Year over year, new listings up 15%. Pending sales in San Joaquin County down 7.6%. Fewer buyers and more people are listing their home for sale. Let's look at price drops and see what we're seeing. Yep, price drops up, elevated 4-year high, 7.3% of all homes had a price drop. Look at active listings. Definitely have more inventory than you did this time last year. You're up 55%. I think they're number one right now that we've looked at today as far as difference in inventory from last year to this year. A lot more homes for sale, no doubt about it. Tell me though, what are you seeing there in San Joaquin County? Is this match what you're seeing? Average sale to list price ratio, getting about a 1% discount on average. But it's a heck of a lot better than where you were, in 2022, it was 104%. People on average were paying 4.3% more than the home was listed for. Not seeing that anymore, it doesn't look like. And the median sale price in San Joaquin County, California, up 3% year over year to $537,000. You peaked in 2022, which a lot of metros did, 589 grand, up 18% at that point. Right now, you are well under, about 50 grand under where you peaked. New listings are up 17% in. Hey, that was great to go through those metros. I really appreciate you requesting them if you did. And if you want to know about your metro, drop it in the comments below. There's a lot of markets out there that are actually seeing some price decline. We're seeing some better inventory. You can see average sale to list price ratios coming down in many of these markets. And there are a lot of price drops. If you're buying a house right now, make sure you're patient. Be patient. Make disrespectful offers if your market dictates that. What I wouldn't do if you're a buyer is listen to folks who say the housing market is horrible and it's the worst time to buy on earth. As we saw today, housing markets vary greatly throughout the United States. And it even comes down to your school district or your neighborhood level. So don't listen to someone who says, hey, overall, you just shouldn't buy a house at all. Continue to wait like you have the last 4 years. I would really seriously hunt for houses and look for ones with price drops and make disrespectful offers. You may land one. I just helped a client a few weeks ago land a disrespectful offer that the seller was not happy about, but guess what? We got the deal done and they got it at a discount. I would do the same thing if I were you and I was looking for a home. But don't be scared about the housing market. Just be logical and do what's best for you. And speaking of buying, the National Association of Realtors just changed how properties are listed, and you need to be aware of this if you're out house hunting. I made a video about it a couple days ago, and you can check it out right here, over here. Here, it's up here.